1. KXnO Des Moines announces new weekday lineup and show changes, July 2025 update. 2. KXnO Iowa Sports Network launches new weekday lineup, the first quarter and off the bench. 1. KXnO Des Moines announces new weekday lineup and show changes, July 2025 update. Get ready for a shakeup in Des Moines sports talk radio. KXnO, the city's go-to sports station, has just unveiled a revamped weekday lineup that's got everyone talking. But here's where it gets controversial. With big changes comes the question, will the new shows live up to the legacy of their predecessors? The revamp comes on the heels of significant departures, including the end of the long-running Murph and Andy show after 15 years on the air. Hosts Keith Murphy and Andy Fields have since transitioned to a podcast on the Iowa Everywhere network, leaving a void that's been filled by fresh faces and new programming. The station has also bid farewell to host Ross Peterson and morning host Travis Justice, who have launched a streaming sports show, further blurring the lines between traditional radio and digital media. So, what's new on KXnO? The station's morning slot is now occupied by The First Quarter, hosted by Heather Burnside and Alec Busse, airing from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. Busse was thrilled to join the KXnO team, calling it the best network for Iowa sports talk radio, podcasting, and streaming. The nationally syndicated The Dan Patrick Show takes over from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., followed by the familiar Miller and Condon, with Ken Miller and Trent Condon from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. But the real change happens in the afternoon. KXnO program director Sean Roberts is shifting from mornings to afternoons, hosting Off the Bench with Lucas Strain from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., a slot previously occupied by Burnside's The Drive. Roberts was thrilled to make the move, signaling a new era for the afternoon drive. To wrap up the day, Overtime Iowa brings a Best of the Day roundup from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. The new lineup kicked off on July 7th and is available on 1460 AM and 106.3 FM in Des Moines, as well as online at kxno.iheart.com. As KXnO navigates these changes, the big question remains, will the new lineup strike a chord with listeners, or will it fall flat? We want to hear from you. Do you think the changes will pay off, or are the old shows still missed? Share your thoughts in the comments. 2. KXnO Iowa Sports Network launches new weekday lineup, the first quarter and off the bench. Get ready, Iowa sports fans, the game has just changed. KXnO's Iowa Sports Network has unveiled a bold new lineup that's set to shake up the airwaves and leave you wondering, is this the ultimate dream team or a strategic misstep? But here's where it gets controversial. With changes as drastic as these, will they score a touchdown with listeners or fumble the ball? Let's dive into the details. iHeartMedia's powerhouse, Iowa Sports Network, broadcasting from 1460 KXnO in Des Moines and 106.3 KXnO FM in Ankeny, Iowa, has officially launched its revamped weekday schedule. And this is the part most people miss. Understanding the reasoning behind each move can reveal the network's true strategy for dominance. At the heart of the new lineup is The First Quarter, a morning show powerhouse now airing from 6 to 9 a.m., hosted by the dynamic duo of Heather Burnside and Alec Busse. You might ask, why these two? Burnside, previously the co-hosting ace of The Drive in the afternoons, 2 to 6 p.m., brings her sharp wit and sports savvy to the morning slot. Meanwhile, Busse, the former lead writer for Cyclone Alert, the go-to source for Iowa State University sports coverage, injects a fresh perspective honed from his in-depth knowledge of Cyclone sports. This pairing isn't just a coincidence, it's a calculated move to capture the morning drive time audience with a blend of established charm and youthful energy. But hold on, because the shifts don't stop there. The popular Dan Patrick Show from Fox Sports Radio has made a strategic one-hour pivot, now airing from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., effectively nudging out the final hour of Colin Cowherd's show. This decision is bound to stir debate among fans. will Dan Patrick's charismatic presence from 9 a.m. onwards be enough to reclaim the morning audience lost to Cowhood's late segment, or does this signal a retreat from the edgier, more opinionated content Cowhood brings to the table? The network seems to bet big on Patrick's broad appeal and in-depth sports analysis to anchor the late morning slot. In a surprising twist of stability, Ken Miller and Trent Condon are holding fort in the 12 to 2 p.m. time slot, a comforting consistency in the sea of change. Their familiarity with the audience and each other translates into a seamless midday experience, a much-needed anchor for listeners. The afternoons get a facelift of their own, with Lucas Strain teaming up with brand manager Sean Roberts for the rebranded Off the Bench, stretching from 2 to 5 p.m. Roberts, who has been warming up the morning airwaves since Travis Justice's exit in January, when he left to join forces with his former co-host Ross Peterson on a new streaming venture, now shifts his focus to afternoons. This isn't just a simple slot adjustment. Roberts brings invaluable behind-the-scenes insight as brand manager, potentially infusing Off the Bench with promotional savvy and deeper engagement strategies. Expect this duo to dissect sports stories with the authority of insiders. Here's where strategy meets nostalgia. The 5 to 6 p.m. hour introduces Overtime Iowa, a clever compilation of the day's top sports moments and discussions, sprinkled with select Fox Sports radio programming. It's the network's nod to the fans who crave a recap of the day's biggest plays and debates, in a digestible, one-hour package. As night falls, Fox Sports Radio takes the reins, ensuring Iowa sports enthusiasts have non-stop action through the evenings and weekends. Now, you might wonder, does this revamp spell exclusivity to Des Moines and Ankeny? Not quite. The ripple effect of KXnO's programming excellence spreads across the state and beyond, thanks to its powerful network of affiliates. Sports Radio 95.7 Cozy FM serving Anamosa and Cedar Rapids, 620 KMNS in Sioux City, 800 KXIC in Iowa City, and 1230 WFXN covering Moline, Illinois, and the Quad Cities. This means whether you're cruising through eastern Iowa or catching the game from the Illinois border, the Iowa Sports Network has got you covered. So, here's the million-dollar question for all of you. Do these lineup changes mark a masterstroke in audience engagement, or a risky reshuffle that might alienate longtime listeners attached to the old format? We want to hear from you. Are you tuning in more often now, or do you think KXnO has miscalled the play? Share your thoughts, cheers, and jeers in the comments below. Is Dan Patrick's earlier slot the key to morning dominance, or was Colin Cowherd's edge the secret sauce you crave? The debate starts now.